On January 14, 2008, there was another tragic accident at Texas City Refinery. This was the third fatality at the refinery since the March 2005 explosion. A BP supervisor, Mr. Joseph Gracia, was fatally injured when the top of a large steel filter housing suddenly blew off in the refinery's ultra-cracker unit.
Thank you all for coming to this news conference of the United States Chemical Safety Board, the CSB. I'm Daniel Horowitz, the Director of Public Affairs for the board.
Yes, sir. Let's see, Reuters. This was a restart that was going on. There was a restart going on the ISOM unit when it happened. Is there a concern that there's a problem with restarts at the Texas City Refinery, that they're not managed well, prepared for well?
Yeah, we're going to be looking at issues related to the procedures and related to preparatory activities prior to the restart. It's too soon to say if that's an issue or not. But we'll be examining those safety systems.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Arts Mark Houston, media source. In your statement, you mentioned that you do have processed water samples. Were those from the day of the incident? Do you actually have water samples from the day of the incident? And if so, were they kept under pressure in case there were any entrained volatile gases that might have escaped otherwise?
Well, we're looking at two different things. We're looking at samples that have been collected. And we're also going to examine historic data related to the composition of the processed water in terms of its constituent chemicals. And we certainly have received some statements, as we said in our statement, that there may be dissolved hydrogen, hydrocarbons, light hydrocarbons, and H2S in the processed water. Witnesses have stated that, and that's something we're going to be examining by looking at the testing.
But the question was, do you have samples from that day, in case there's a wide variability in that composition from day to day?
We have samples from a variety of time periods.
Catherine Fraser from Class. To clarify, when you talk about the possibility of dissolved hydrocarbons in this particular water, is that normally there as part of this overall? Was it supposed? I'm not sure if I understand. Was it not supposed to be in that water?
That's a good question. The wash water was washing hydrogen, but it was 80% hydrogen. We're going to be analyzing the composition of that hydrogen, but we have witness statements that the hydrogen can contain light hydrocarbons as well as hydrogen and as well as H2S. And when the water comes in contact, part of its function is to remove chlorides that are in the hydrogen, as well as other substances such as H2S, and it also picks up scale and other things, and may contain hydrocarbons. And so we're in the process of analyzing the process safety information from the unit historically.
But is that considered wrong? Is the hydrocarbons not supposed to be in that?
It's something it comes in contact with. I think it's too soon to tell what is known about that particular stream. But we do have witness statements that the stream did contain hydrocarbons, dissolved H2S dissolved hydrogen.
Just to define a little bit more precisely what kind of investigation you're doing. 2 years ago, you guys had a really lengthy investigation. You had multiple public meetings, multiple press conferences. Is this the kind of thing that you're envisioning this time, or is this going to be something more self-contained that takes a few months, and then you issue a report at the end of it? I mean, do you envision that you'll do public meetings this time?
Let Don answer.
I think it's too early to say. We did 2 previous reports on BP, one of which was a shorter case study, one was the longer report on the ISOM, and as Don and Mr. Warka both emphasized, we're at an early stage of the investigation. But as Mr. Wark noted, as new facts emerge, if they're relevant to the public and the industry, we'll seek to make those available.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to press this, but I just want to
No,
understand.
excuse me.
I was going to say, in the photograph that we're seeing right there, the unit, the filtration unit, does it rest on the ground or is it resting on the platform? I mean, does it extend through that platform down to the ground? Just trying to understand how.
Yes, it does. That's the top part of the filter vessel. So there is a part of it.
Seeing the top
Yeah, for example, the inlet valve to that vessel is located underneath that platform, that decking.
I see.
And that, in the location of that decking, provides easy access to the changing the filters.
And how far did that lid blow? I'm just trying to get a feel for scale. Blew about 6 feet?
Well, actually, the information we have is the lid blew straight up in the air, and we're calculating actually the specific distances. So I don't want to provide those today, but it landed more than 10 feet away than the vessel, but it traveled up in the air as well, and then eventually landed in that location.
Just jump back.
Juan Lozano, the AP, you had said that the unit was, this section of the unit was at the beginning stages of a startup after a prolonged shutdown. How long had it been shut down, and if you could go over what exactly again it was being, why it was shut down, what was being done to it, what had been done to it?
Just very, very briefly, there was a motorization project that intended to change the compressor. The 80% hydrogen was the feed for a compressor. That compressor had been replaced and its design had been changed, and so this particular section of the ultracracker that included the hydrogen scrubber system that includes these filters had been run only very, very briefly. And I say very, very briefly, probably less than 8 minutes since the 2005 turnaround. And as I think most people are aware, as a result of the ISOM incident, the ultracracker was one of those units that was down for a particularly long period of time, and took a number of months before it restarted. But most of the ultracracker had restarted at the time of this incident, but the particular section where this occurred had not successfully started for any length of time since the 2005 turnaround.